BYU football game week back in action. Cougars taking on the Arizona Wildcats, and here with defensive ends coach, special teams coordinator Kelly Poppinga. And Coach, where do you feel is the strengths maybe right now of this defensive end group and areas where you want to see improvement in the second month of the season?
I think the strength is just our experience. I think we have good experience with Batty, with Isaiah Bagna, and with Logan Latui, and I think those guys have played very well the first 5 games. And then I think there's some great youth, great talent that's coming up, and I think those guys have all showed up and did some good things. I think Buha has come along the last 2 games really well. He's done some good stuff. But Bodie's done good stuff this season. I think Ephraim Asiata as well. So I think the future's bright, and it's good to have experience like that with youth coming up so those guys can learn how it's done the right way.
Along with on the field, the seniors, what impact are they having just maybe in the locker room and the culture that's talked about quite a bit with this program?
Yeah, they're doing a great job, man. I think just teaching them how to do it the right way. Batty is one of the best I've ever been around about going through the process each week, about taking care of his body, training the right way, practicing the right way, studying the right way, getting the right sleep. And so I think they're learning from one of the best of just how to go through the process each week and how you got to earn it every single week, no matter who the opponent is. We're not just going to show up and beat anybody. That's not how the Big 12 works. Every game's going to be a battle. And, I think he's taught them just that process of what you're going to have to go through week in and week out, and it's a grind. And, the season's long, but I think, having a guy experienced like that to show those guys how it should be done, I think it's going to just benefit those guys for years to come.
Batty's had some great performances, too. I think on the outside, people just look at, he's only had 1 sack. But, he's dominating. These Kansas State and Baylor games, he was playing great. What is there sort of like a grading system that you guys have and say, wow, it's jumping off the page?
Oh, yeah. You just look at the amount of QB hurries he's had all season long. Now, he's got to finish some sacks. But what a lot of people don't understand is that quarterback hurry, a hit, any type of pressure, any time we're moving the pocket, getting the quarterback to move his feet, knocking balls down, that's what we call affecting the quarterback. And so, and he's affected the quarterback at a high level, especially in the Baylor game. I think one of the best games he's played as far as just getting after the quarterback and being able to play the run. I thought he was super consistent in that and did a great job. And so, can't measure everything off of sacks. Obviously, it's a great stat. Everybody wants the sacks. He's got to finish some. But I think at this point, he's got to continue to just win. His winning percentage against tackles right now is very good. So now he's just got to continue to take that to the next level because we got a great challenge. I think these tackles this week are good players, and so we have our hands full with just beating them in their protection. The quarterback doesn't get sacked very often. Texas Tech did get after him probably as good as anybody. It'll be a great challenge for these tackles that we're facing.
What's is there offensive lines that can kind of every single game's had a different offensive line unit? It feels like their personnel's changed up quite a bit. What's some of the tendencies with that O-line that maybe pose some challenges that are different from some of the other matchups?
Yeah, I think they're consistent, and especially in the last couple of games. I think since the Kansas State game and their bye week, they've been more consistent. Obviously, they've only played 2 games, but I think they're being more consistent in who they're playing. I think the tackles are their best players. I think the center looks like he's been around and he's done it a long time. The guards, I think they're a veteran group, and I think they're running back. I think this is maybe the most talented offense we've seen all year. Now, does that mean they're the best offense? I don't know. We're going to find that out on Saturday, but they're talented. They got talented receivers. They got 2 talented backs. I think their O-line's very experienced. Their quarterback's one of the best, maybe the best thrower we see all season long, and just the way that he can scramble and extend plays. So it's, our defense is going to have to play to our best ability and to our best, what's the word I'm looking for? Mitch. I'm losing to our potential. Yeah. We're going to have to play to our potential this week to be able to really give the same result that we had in the SMU game and in the Kansas State game. Like, we're going to have to play at a high level because these guys are good. And, like I said, I think as talent shows, they might be the most talented group we've seen.
And I'm glad you bring that up, too, because I think the Big 12, people look at logos and then just make assumptions based on that. But this league, week after week, the personnel, the depth, so to be at 5-0 and be in a spot where you guys still can play better foot, improve. Yeah. It's been a good test so far to what you guys have shown.
Yeah, I really encouraged just the way that we've been able to play on the road. I think that's been a huge, improvement from a year ago, being able to just go on the road, especially in the Big 12, and win a game. And then, the way the Kansas State game went, the ball just bounced our way that night. I think if you play that game 10 times, it's not going to end up us winning by 29 points. That's going to be a battle. And us going into that game, we thought it would be somebody's kicking that field goal probably at the end of the game to win that game. And so, and I think that's how it is. I mean, shoot, you go to the Baylor game last week. It's most of these conferences that are the Power 4 conferences now, it's going to come down to the last drive because just there's a lot of parity. And I think there's a lot of really good football. And I think that's what, our mindset going into this game is we're going to have to battle and be able to just be ready to make one more play than them right at the end of the game. And shoot, maybe it'll be like SMU or maybe it'll be like Kansas State. Really just depends on how the flow of the game goes. But I know our guys are ready for the challenge and excited to get back on the field to just continue to show who we are.
I wanted to go back to some comments you had about the youth on the DNs, and how do you still kind of develop those guys in season? I mean, there's so much talk about it in camp and the summer, but how do you do it in season to still get those guys developed to where if their number's ever called, they're going to be ready?
Yeah, there's so many reps in practice. So, I mean, Batty and Logan and Zay, they can't take all the reps in practice, right? So those guys, Vil and Ephraim and Bodie, are getting a ton of reps in practice, and so that's where the development happens. And then when they get, the 8 to 15 game reps that they end up getting, those are like gold. Because there is, at the end of the day, there's nothing like game reps, right? You can try to do and simulate as much as you want in practice, but man, the game reps are like gold. And so what I've been very pleased with, especially with Vil the last 2 weeks, I think he's come in and done a great job of just showing what he can do in a game situation. And yeah, we'll see if his role continues to increase, but we've been pleased with where he's at right now.
What did the bye week look like for you? Was there any traveling, recruiting-wise for you, or was it still pretty much being here in Provo?
Yeah, we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and then there was another practice Thursday that all of the coaches missed except for the coordinators. The offensive defensive coordinator and the head coach were here, but the rest of us were out on the road recruiting. A lot of us were in California. Just out on the road and trying to solidify the commits and then trying to find new 2026 guys as well. We watched some of those guys, and so just trying to find the next next great Cougs out there. And I think we were around a lot of them this last week. So excited to continue in that process, bring the right guys here.